Hey everyone, and welcome. I am so excited you're here because I have such a special story to share with you today. It's all about a boy, a whole bunch of sheep, and, well, it's about why telling the truth is one of the most powerful and important things you can ever do. Are you?
Oh, I knew you would be. Fantastic. Okay, everybody find your coziest spot, maybe snuggle up with a blanket, because we are about to travel back in time to a beautiful little village nestled on a green, grassy hill. You ready? Let's do this.
All right, picture this. A big sunny hill, just covered in the softest, greenest grass you can possibly imagine. And right there, sitting on that hill, is a young shepherd boy. His name's Peter, and he's got this fun, curly brown hair and the biggest, most curious eyes you've ever seen.
Now, you might be wondering, what's a shepherd? Well, a shepherd has a super important job. They take care of sheep. And it was Peter's job every single day to watch over a whole flock of these fluffy white sheep as they nibbled and munched on all that yummy green grass. And what sound do the sheep make? They go baa. Can you try that with me? Let me hear your best sheep sound. Ready? Baa. Oh, that's a perfect sheep sound.
So, watching sheep sounds pretty cool, right? Well, after a while, Peter started to feel a little bored. He'd sigh and say, "Oh, the sheep just eat grass all day long. Nothing exciting ever happens up here." And that's when a tricky, very naughty little idea popped right into his head.
So, one afternoon, Peter was sitting on a big rock, feeling super duper bored. He looked down the hill at his village and saw all the grown-ups working hard. And he thought to himself, I know how to make things a little more exciting around here.
So Peter stood up on that rock. He took a big, deep breath, and he shouted as loud as he possibly could, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! A wolf is attacking my sheep!" Can you all shout wolf with me? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wolf! Wow, that was loud.
Way down in the village, everyone heard Peter shouting. Oh my goodness, they dropped what they were doing and started running up the hill as fast as their legs could carry them. Can you run in place with me? Go! Thump, 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 thump. They ran and ran all the way up that hill.
When they finally got to the top, they were all out of breath. "Where is it? Where's the wolf?" they panted. But guess what? There was no wolf, not a single one. The sheep were totally fine, just munching on grass. And Peter? Oh, Peter was laughing. "Ha ha ha, I tricked you," he said.
Well, the villagers were not very happy. "Peter, that is not a funny trick," said the baker. And the wise old grandmother shook her head and warned him, "Don't you ever do that again." But Peter just kept on giggling.
So a few more days went by, and you guessed it, Peter was bored again. He thought, that was pretty exciting. Maybe I should do it just one more time? Uh-oh. He hopped back up on his rock, and this time he shouted even louder.
And once again, all the villagers came running up that hill, only to find Peter laughing even harder than before. But this time, they weren't just unhappy, they were really angry. The wise old grandmother pointed her finger right at him and said, very seriously, "Peter, if you keep telling these lies, one day when you really need help, nobody is going to believe you."
Peter didn't really think about what the grandmother said. But the very next day, something changed. The sun was starting to set, and the sky was turning all orange and pink. It was quiet, but then Peter heard something. A little sound from the bushes. Rustle, rustle.
"Hello? Is anyone there?" Peter called out. But the rustling sound just got closer. Peter stood up, and his heart started to beat really fast. Boom, 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 boom. Can you put a hand on your heart and feel it beating? What do you think is making that sound?
And then, slowly, stepping out from behind a big tree, Peter saw them, 2 glowing yellow eyes. It was a wolf, a real live wolf with big, pointy teeth and long, sharp claws.
The sheep saw it too. "Bah!" they cried, and they started running all over the place. And the wolf let out a low growl. Grrr. Can you make a low, scary growl like a wolf? Grrr. Ooh, that gives me shivers. Peter's eyes went wide. He was terrified. He screamed louder than he had ever screamed before. "Wolf! Wolf! A real wolf this time! Please, somebody help me!"
But down in the village, the people just heard his shouting and shook their heads. The baker kept making his bread, the farmer kept tending to his fields, nobody came running. They thought it was just another trick.
So up on that hill, Peter was all alone with the big, scary wolf. "Please!" he cried, with big tears rolling down his cheeks. But even though he was so scared, he did something very brave. He grabbed his shepherd's stick and he waved it at the wolf, shouting, "Go away! Leave my sheep alone!"
A little while later, after the wolf had run off, the wise old grandmother came slowly walking up the hill. She found Peter sitting on the ground crying, with his sheep scattered all over.
A real wolf came," Peter sobbed. "I shouted for help, but nobody believed me. I was all by myself."
The grandmother sat down right next to Peter. She wasn't angry this time. She just looked very serious and a little sad. She put her arm around him and said gently, "Peter, this is what I was talking about. When you lie over and over again, people stop believing what you say. And then, even when you are finally telling the truth, nobody listens." And right then, Peter finally understood.
And you know what? From that day forward, Peter never told a lie again. Not one. And when he started to feel bored, he found brand new, honest ways to have fun. He'd sing silly songs to his sheep, he'd practice making a super loud shepherd's whistle, he'd lie in the grass and count the fluffy clouds, and he'd draw amazing pictures in his little notebook.
So what's the big lesson, the big takeaway from Peter's story? It's like a secret code for being an amazing person. First, always try to tell the truth, even when it feels a little tough. Second, remember that lying can make other people feel sad, and it can make you feel sad too. Third, it's okay to make mistakes. The bravest thing you can do is say, "I'm sorry," and really mean it. And the biggest rule of all, honesty is a superpower. It really is.
You all did such a good job listening and understanding this really big lesson. So can you make a promise with me? A promise that you'll always try your very best to tell the truth? Say, "I promise." Wonderful! I am so proud of you.
Thank you so much for listening to our story today. I really hope you had fun. And until our next big story adventure, always remember, be brave, be kind, and always be honest. Goodbye for now, friends. See you next time.